top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. The Department of Interior and Local Government appealed to the public on Monday to exercise self-discipline as the relaxed quarantine protocols this Christmas has resulted in a slight rise in the reproduction rate of COVID-19 cases in Metro Manila. This was based on the report of the Octa research team, which said that the reproduction rate of COVID-19 in Metro Manila has increased and may now be above 1. The reproduction number is the expected number of new infections and infected individuals may cause in a population where everyone is susceptible, with a figure lower than 1, meaning a flattened curve. If the trend continues, the Octa research team said COVID-19 cases in the country may reach more or less 500,000 by the end of the year. DILG Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya said it is impossible for authorities to enforce health protocols round the clock with a steady rise in the number of individuals now out in the streets. Malaya said the DILG has never been negligent in its duty, as discipline brigades routinely roam the barangays to remind the people to exercise individual discipline and responsibility in a bid to prevent the spike of the virus. For New Year revelries and the traditional use of torotot or horn and whistles to usher in the new year, Malaya said that it should be done within the confines of their own homes. But the Department of Health has opposed the use of torotot in public, saying that it produces aerosols that may transmit COVID-19. The public was advised by the Department of Health to avoid drinking alcohol beverage before and after receiving immunization against the coronavirus disease. This is to make sure recipients have a robust immune system when receiving a vaccine. Our news correspondent, Analu De Vera, has this report.
The Department of Health advised the public to avoid unhealthy habits such as drinking alcohol before and after being immunized against the coronavirus disease. DOH Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere underscored the importance of having a robust immune system when receiving a vaccine. In a recent Reuters report, a Russian official advised would-be recipients of Sputnik V vaccine to avoid drinking alcohol at least 2 weeks before getting vaccinated and continue to abstain for a further 42 days.
Yung sinasabi na nagkaroon ng warning or advisory in Russia na umiwas muna sa pag-inom ng alak prior and after receiving the vaccine. So these are just precautionary measures. We all know that when you drink alcohol, especially if you drink it too much, bumababa po ang immunity natin. And when you receive a vaccine, para mag-work maigi sa inyo ang bakuna, kailangan robust ang system mo. Yung immune system mo ay maayos para nakakapag-develop ng maayos na antibodies ang iyong katawan.
Vergere said that such advice is just a precautionary measure.
This is part of the uncertainty of what is happening right now with this pandemic and the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Kaya po may mga ganitong precautionary measures. So I think this is not something bad, and I think people should heed this call, para lang po magkaroon ng mas magandang epekto ang ating bakuna. Iwasan muna natin yung mga nakakasama sa ating katawan.
Vergere said it would be prudent for anyone to avoid alcoholic drinks in order for the vaccine to have a better effect. For MB Now, this is Analu De Vera reporting.
Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Gilbert Gapay expressed confidence that a new People's Army and the 5 decades-old problem on communist insurgency will be totally crushed before President Duterte finishes his term in 2022. Gapay made a prediction after he reported that a total of 201 NPA rebels were killed, 264 more were arrested, and 7,615 fighters, militias, propagandists, and underground organization members and supporters have surrendered to authorities since January 2020. The military chief noted that their goal of crushing the NPA, the armed component of the Communist Party of the Philippines, which was founded by Jose Maria Joma Sison in 1968, will only be realized through the help of the public. In December 2019, Duterte directed the military and police to eradicate by all means possible the threat of the NPA, which he considered as a top security concern in the country. Earlier this month, Duterte refused to declare a holiday truce with the CPP-NPA, which he had done in the previous years. Gapay said this would mean that the military will continue their security operations against the communist groups even during the Yuletide season. A child rights organization underscored on Monday that more jobs and livelihood for women in conflict-affected Mindanao provinces will improve the lives of thousands of displaced children and families who face risks from lingering armed conflict and the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. In celebration of the International Day of Human Rights, the Save the Children Philippines has called for strengthening of women's rights to economic empowerment and critical participation in the labor force. The SCP, in partnership with the task force Bangon Marawi and local government agencies, is implementing emergency assistance for the recovery of Marawi City through the restoration of livelihood and learning projects funded by the Japan Fund for Poverty Reduction through the Asian Development Bank. SCP-BIRRMM team leader Edwin Horca explained that the project aims to provide emergency income and livelihood support to displaced families with focus on supporting the role of women, youth in Marawi and its neighboring municipalities. The group, citing the data from the Philippine Statistics Authority, reported that the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao recorded the highest unemployment rate at 21.550% last September as an adverse impact of the global pandemic and displacement due to armed conflict in the area, contributing to the financial crisis of affected families in Marawi. The SCP said the project provided skills training, financial and livelihood support for women's groups in different communities for traditional weaving and other local products, which were identified by the Department of Trade and Industry and the task force Bangon Marawi. In Metro News, San Juan City wins top award for efforts at improving education amid the pandemic. And over 100 Navotas teachers get computers and cash. More from this report.
San Juan City won the top prize in the recently concluded Digital Governance Awards 2020 for its education program amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Mayor Francis Zamora said San Juan won first place in the eGov Customer Empowerment or G2C category for cities with its entry education in the time of COVID-19. The city's entry highlighted San Juan's effort in providing learning devices such as computer tablets and laptops, as well as fast and reliable internet connection to all public school students in the city. Manila and Kawayan City Isabela won second and third place respectively. More than 100 teachers in Navotas City received cash and computers from the city government in time for the Navotas Teachers' Day. Around 123 master teachers received laptops, computers, while 24 public school teachers got one desktop unit each. The Navotas Science High School also received 24 desktop computers for their computer laboratory. Aside from the computer, the teachers also received around 200,000 worth of cash prizes. Navotas City Mayor Toby Tiangco thanked the teachers for their service, especially as both students and teachers grapple with the new blended distant learning setup amid the COVID-19 crisis.
And here are the top news in other parts of the country. 8 persons rescued after being trapped by flood in Apayao town. Group tapped to study establishment of Bacolod City General Hospital. And Davao government employees asked not to hold Christmas parties in private homes. More from this report.
Incessant heavy rains since Saturday night caused sudden flooding in the municipality of Budol in Apayao province. 3 residents got stranded on the banks of Malunag River, which suddenly swelled. The Budol municipal government immediately dispatched the search and rescue team to the area with their motorized boats. A family of 5, which included a PWD, was also evacuated from their flooded home before the water rose to more dangerous levels. Residents said they were thankful for the swift action of the responders who were equipped with life-saving equipment. A study group from the University of St. La Salle was commissioned by the Bacolod City government to study the proposed establishment of the Bacolod City General Hospital. The development was announced by Mayor Evelio Leonardia in a press conference on Saturday with Senate Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri, who is the sponsor of the counterpart Senate Bill 1647 seeking to establish the Bacolod City General Hospital. Zubiri said the hospital was envisioned to provide healthcare to the people of the Lone District of Bacolod, noting that currently, the Corazon Locsin Montalibano Memorial Regional Hospital was the only tertiary government hospital that caters to the whole of Negros Occidental. Mayor Sara Duterte reminded all officials and personnel of national government agencies in Davao City against holding Christmas parties in private residences just to skirt her previous call not to hold Yuletide celebrations in compliance with coronavirus disease-related health and safety protocols. Duterte's statement came after she learned that there was some personnel of government agencies in the city who were set to hold Christmas parties in private residences despite the threat of coronavirus disease. Duterte said that even if parties held at residential areas were not included in the prohibition, she was still appealing for cooperation due to the high number of COVID-19 cases in the city. Based on the report of the Department of Health in Region 11, as of December 13, the city has 1,867 active cases.
Now in world news, the UN chief calls for worldwide state of climate emergency. Stockholm sunless so far in December. And French artist lives in glass cube for 10 days. Let's watch this report.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres on Saturday called for a worldwide state of climate emergency to tackle global warming. Guterres said the Paris Agreement promised to limit temperature rise to as close to 1.5 degrees Celsius as possible, but the commitments made in Paris were far from enough to get there, and even those commitments are not being met. Some 38 countries have already done so, recognizing the urgency and the stakes. All other countries should follow, said Guterres. The recovery from COVID-19 presents an opportunity to set economies and societies on a green path in line with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, UN SecGen said. More than 110 countries have committed to becoming carbon neutral by 2050. Under the Paris Deal's ratchet mechanism, countries are required to submit renewed emissions cutting plans every 5 years. The deadline for this is December 31. Winter days are typically short in Scandinavia, but Stockholm has been usually dark this December, yet to log a single hour of sunlight thus far, Sweden's Meteorological Institute said. At this time of year, the sun only rises above the horizon for about 6 hours a day in the Swedish capital. But this month already bleak as the country battles a sharp surge of COVID-19 infections. Last Thursday, the sun rose in the capital at 8:33 a.m. and set again at 2:48 p.m., though it was hidden behind cloud cover all day. A French artist installed an exhibit entitled Non-Essential. It is all about putting culture, which clearly saved us during this confinement, back into the center of the subject. Marseille-based artist Gethin Marin confines himself for 10 days in a 4-meter square cube, which is visible to passerby. To have a certain comfort, he put a television and a coffee machine and some books to read inside the booth. But in the end, Marin said he's missing the main thing, the human contact.
In entertainment, celebrity couple Jessy Mendiola and Luis Manzano announced their engagement last Saturday, December 12. Both Mendiola and Manzano posted on their Instagram accounts photos of their engagement where they were in color-coordinated outfits by the beach. Many wondered what December 12, 2020 or 12-12-20 meant when they both posted a few days prior to their announcement a video with a date written on the sand. In sports, world champion Carlos Yulo bolstered his Olympic preparations after bagging 2 bronze medals in the 74th All-Japan Gymnastics Championships at the Takasaki Arena. Yulo, one of the country's brightest hopes in the 2021 Tokyo Olympics, landed 3rd in the floor exercise with 15.200 points behind Kazuki Minami's 15.600 points and Ryosuke Doi with 15.300 points. The 20-year-old Pinoy bet also finished 3rd in vault with 14.466 points behind Hidenobu Yonekura and Asato Keizuki. Yulo's all-around performance also earned him an 8th place finish with 14.466 points behind top 3 winners Kazumi Kaya, Takeyu Kitazono, and Sho Tanigawa. This was Yulo's 2nd tournament this year after bagging a bronze at the 2020 All-Japan Senior Gymnastics Championships, also in Takasaki last September. He has been training extensively in Japan for the past years under Japanese coach Munihiro Kogimiya. And those are the news on Web today, December 14, 2020. It's 11 days before Christmas. For more news and details, get your copy of Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mb.com.ph, or you may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link in this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. I am Barbie Atienza for Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.